Welcome to our Liveaboard sailboat. This is a 1984 Wauquiez Amphitrite ketch-rigged sailboat. There were 138 built in France, and nearly every one of them are still accounted for. She is 13 meters long, or 43 feet, and 14.17 meters, or 13.67 feet wide, weighing 13,000 kilograms with a 2-meter draft under an encapsulated fin keel and skegged hung rudder. Our Amphitrite is covered with beautiful teak decking installed with no screws and a custom hardtop pilot house. Hello everyone, welcome to Heart Not Life Sailing. Today we are doing our boat tour. We are aboard a 1984 Wauquiez Amphitrite. If you see that written, it looks like it says Wauquiez, but the correct pronunciation is Wauquiez. And it's raining again. We've been trying to film this all week. Every time we start filming, it starts raining. We're going to give it a go anyways. We're going to do it with or without the rain right now. This is the aft of our deck. The aft deck of our Wauquiez Amphitrite. This is where we spend our morning coffees and our afternoon sundowners, which don't have very many of. We built this enclosure here while we're in Luperon. This is to keep the heat of the summer off of our deck. Our cabin is actually right below this where we sleep, so this keeps that part of the boat much cooler. We actually spend a lot of time in that cabin, so this makes that cabin much more comfortable, and it keeps the rain off days just like today. We've been trying to film this for a couple weeks now, and we just keep getting stuck in the rain, so we're gonna have to just do this in the rain. But right now in the back of the boat, we're not getting the rain because of this shelter that I have put up here. It's supported with fiberglass rods. They're sewn into little pockets, and I have buckles all the way around to attach it to the boat. The nice thing about that is if you do have to take it down in a hurry, there's no knots to undo. You just undo the buckles and the whole tarp can come off in one big long piece. And then to make it packable, we just separate all the fiberglass rods, just like tent rods. Our Davit system of my own design. We use a 3-to-1 pulley system to hoist up the dinghy and the cleat here where we tie it off. This is supported through our transom. There's a massive block of stainless on both sides of the transom, and this transom here is actually about 1.25 inches thick of solid glass. When I had to drill these holes, it was solid fiberglass drilling through every one of them, plus I reinforced it on the inside. As you can see in one of our previous videos, that fiberglass, I laid up some layers of, I believe it was biaxial, on the inside of the boat when I removed all the wood paneling to reinforce it, not knowing how thick this glass already was. This is 3-inch stainless steel tubing, and it's also reinforced down here. As you can see, this pole right here, which I think is 1.5 inches thick pole, also reinforces it down to our deck. Now that part of our deck is very strong. That's actually where our stays are, which hold up our mast. Our shrouds go into this deck on the back of the boat. On the front of the boat has the front and middle of the boat has chain plates. Back here is right onto the fiberglass, so that fiberglass is very thick and very strong. So these davits are overkill strong, which I like things overkill. I like things to be as strong as I can possibly make them. So these davits, no matter how large of a dinghy we put on it, we never have to worry about it. They're so strong, we actually put our shrouds, our aft stays from our mizzen mast are attached to the actual davits. You can see on that ring, and that's what holds up our mizzen mast. By doing it this way, our boom, which used to have shrouds that come down to the corners of the deck, whenever you're doing a tack, meaning the boom's going from side to side, you actually had to loosen one side off and tighten the other side, so you had to be on the deck. Now our boom can swing side to side without a problem. There's nothing in the way because it's all secured by our davits, and our davits are actually stronger than the area where the deck was before, so it's much more secure than it ever was before. And these are our steps to get onto our boat, and we'll show Mary here climbing up. This is how we use our steps. Our steps are a lot like a ladder. They're almost vertical, or pretty much are vertical, but it was the only way we had room to get the swim platform up, which is our other new feature. This swim platform is also my own design. This is a lot larger than the one that was on here previous to the boat. It's mounted the same way to the boat, but of thicker tubing, and this swim platform actually hinges. First thing we do is remove these pins which lock the platform in place. We do that from inside the boat. We've got a rope on both sides that feed through a ring, so it keeps the swim platform tight to the boat. It takes a little bit of a tug to get it started, and then it rises up. So we pull it through that ring and tie it to a cleat, and then our swim platform is secured in an upright position. And if you had a much larger dinghy, this swim platform now is out of the way for the dinghy to come up and down. So as you can see, when the swim platform's up, if you have following seas, meaning waves coming from behind you, they're not going to be pushing up on your swim platform. They're just going to be pressing the boat from behind. And last but not least are our swim ladder. And this just simply goes down into the water and extends. And it's got 4 steps, so it gets pretty deep into the water, making it easy to get on and off of the swim platform. As you can see on the back of the boat, we have very large windows. These are to our cabin. There's actually 6 windows in our cabin. These are our new stern seats. These used to be a 2-part. Well, I built these in Trinidad in one solid piece of wood, so they're less likely to get broken. And now they're very sturdy, and we sit here quite a bit, even when the seas are pretty calm and we're sailing. You sit back here and you get a great view of the whole boat. This is our view while you're sailing, minus the tent. And you can see all around you. You can see exactly what all the sails are doing. It's a really good view from back here. Next thing here is our hatches. We have 2 30-inch hatches on this boat, so they are very large. You can easily climb 2 people at a time in and out of these. Just simply have a little piece of teak here, and there we get a really nice breeze all night long into our cabin. These lenses we've also replaced while we're in Trinidad. I'm not going to recommend doing that because it was a real pain. If you want to replace these specific kind, I would recommend reaching out to the company that builds them. They still do exist, and they'll send you proper ones with the holes drilled and everything right from the factory. I personally haven't ordered them, but I know you can, and I wish I'd taken that route. This was a challenge to do these. Not the cutting it, but just getting it properly glued in and getting these holes drilled out perfectly for the latch hardware was challenging. This is our life raft. This is mostly used right now as a coffee table for us to put our coffee cups on when we're on the hammocks. I believe this is a 4-person life raft. 6? Yeah, this is a 6-person life raft we hope to never use. It will soon need to be updated before we cross any oceans. You can have these serviced to extend their life, but in most cases it makes more sense just to buy a new one because servicing costs almost as much as a brand new life raft, so not too many people actually get them serviced, and this one we will probably replace with a brand new one. On the starboard side is our life ring. This just unhooks and you can throw it. This rope comes out of the bag. I believe there's about 100 feet of rope inside this bag. It's all neatly placed in there, so when this life ring goes, there's no friction trying to take the rope out. It just spools out quickly. If you ever have to catch somebody fell overboard, which we hope never happens. This is our mizzen boom, which is attached to our mizzen mast. This is just an additional sail to our main sail. They're mostly used for going behind that, so any wind that's coming from the side of the boat or behind the boat and everything in between, this works very well. Anything in front of the beam, meaning wind coming from in front of the boat, it's not very effective that way, so on those wind conditions we don't really use this. Moving forward, these are our cowls and dorades. So this is a cowl, which is like a air scoop. Air gets sucked into here, and behind it is a raised tube that goes into the boat. How this works is the air goes in here, and any water that comes in with that comes out these holes and doesn't go inside the boat. So this prevents any water from coming inside the boat, but gives you a constant flow of fresh air. These are our winches. This is for raising the boom. I keep this little bottle of soapy water with a hole in it. Every once in a while, I like to squirt that inside the track that holds the slugs that raise the sails up. Not only does it clean those slugs out, but it makes it real slick, so the sails come up and down very easily. Just a little trick of the trade. I always keep one out. Seems to last a long time. You just put a little squirt in there after every couple of sails, and it really helps to raise and lower the main. It just slides up and drops down all on its own without having to pull it down. Now we have lots of winches on this boat. This winch here is for the sheeting of our boom. It controls our boom from side to side and tension on that sail. This is our main sail winch. This is our main winch. This controls the sheet of our main sail, so it controls where the boom is and the tension on that sail. These are self-tailing winches, so when the rope wraps around there, it goes inside this track and then exits here. So you only need one hand on the handle. You don't have to have one hand on the rope. So you can do this with one hand, which is very handy. Most of the winches on our boat are like this, except for our mizzen ones. This is our safety bell. Another boat's not seeing you coming, you can ring that. It's very loud. It's bronze. We're just borrowing this generator right now because we've had so much stormy weather that our solar panels have not been keeping up. We use a lot of electricity on our boat. It's never been a problem until just recently, but we borrowed this and it works great. Thank you, Henry, for that borrow. We do have a built-in generator on the boat. It is not functioning right now. It got salt water in it on our way to Luperon, and the piston is seized. I'm still working at trying to repair that, so I'm borrowing this in the meantime. Moving on from that is our winch for our furling system. So by tightening this winch with the rope through it, it goes to our furler, which rolls up our head sail. So the sail on the very front of the boat, that rolls that sail up. So basically puts that sail away or releases that sail so you can use it. So this winch is what controls that. These are more shrouds. There's a lot of shrouds on this boat. This is called a ketch, K-E-T-C-H. This type of sailboat has two masts, so there's a lot of shrouds that hold that. So this is a shroud for our mizzen. It's a smaller diameter. These are winches for our head sail sheet. This is to tighten and loosen the control for our head sail. These are our biggest winches on the boat. These get a lot of torque. It's a big rope that goes through here. These are all self-tailing, which means you only need one hand for them, which are great. We just cover them up because we're in hurricane season. This here is our propane locker. We keep 2 of these 5-pound propane tanks. They are very small propane tanks, but that's all that we have, and that's the only size that'll fit in here. I think we could fit a third one here. We just haven't been able to find somewhere to buy a third one since we left the United States 3 years ago. But we do have 2. One is just out right now because it's being refilled. We also use a barbecue tank as our backup, so when these run out, we have a 10-pound tank that keeps us going until we can find where to fill those up. All right, we're looking on the other side of the tarp because the tarp is covering it up, but that is our barbecue. It's hung over the rail, and that connects to a barbecue tank. It's actually made for a 1-pound tank, but I have a conversion on there to use for a 10-pound tank. So for barbecuing, I undo the straps and I can lift it out of the way, but don't normally have this tarp up. So that tank is very easy access. This is our Starlink, and that's where it's mounted. I'll step back a bit so you can see. So we just have it mounted at the stern rail for now, technically called a push pit. It's the railings at the back of the boat. That's not going to be its permanent location, but for while we're here, that works perfectly for us. Hi, Mary. These are the controls for our boat. So this controls our engine, temperature, battery, fuel tanks, RPMs. And to start it up, we move that out of the way and just turn the key. This is an old Perkins 4.154. It's an old engine, but it fires up immediately. You don't have to turn it over. You just flick that key and it's running. We have our radio in here, and that is our autopilot controls. And this is our cockpit radio. Now, if I was to redesign this boat, I would be moving the autopilot controls up onto the helm here, but we do not have that now. And this is our pilot house or hardtop. People have different names for it. We call it our pilot house and our hardtop, depending on what mood we're in. You can see we did full series on how to build this on our channel. You can see the link maybe up here, maybe over here. We have quite a few videos step by step how to build this. It took 4 months to do, so it's a lot of videos, but I go over as much detail as possible to let anybody know exactly how this went down. I made this very strong. It could be walked on, which I'll show you. We've got plexiglass windows in the front. I know there's different options. Everybody has a different opinion on it. We went with plexiglass. It was available where we were at 6mm, I believe. And I feel that that is strong enough. It's much stronger than the Dodger flexible windows that we had on there originally. And we have lighting in here and lighting back here, which is all run inside the hardtop, the wires. If you look out to the side, this is a rain collector. So water goes through here, runs down plumbing down the support arm, and goes into a threaded fitting here, so we can just unscrew this, sail like that when we're at anchor and it's gonna start raining. We hook up the hose, we let the first little bit wash through just to clean the solar panels and the top and the hose all out, and then we put that into our tank right there. They both connect together, go down our tank, and right now we have about 150 gallons of free water, which has been awesome. And this is our helm. This is where our steering wheel just easily slides over top of this keyway and tightens up. We take that out because it's just in the way. This is our compass. We're currently facing east, which is almost all the time because the trade winds here are the east. This is the controls for our bow thruster. Just turn it on and it works. And our controls for our engine, we use it slightly to reverse while we're at anchor because that allows our table to open up. If you want to watch a video on how I made this, this is our original table, which was modified with the new table so that we have a table wide enough to eat in the cockpit, because the table this narrow is too far away from the seat to eat comfortably. This is where we put our iPad. We use an iPad for all of our navigation because our built-in navigation, it's a little bit outdated, but it's also so far away from the helm, you can't read it while you're controlling the boat. When you're way back here, you can't see what's going on a screen that far away. That's about 7-8 feet away. You just can't see it. It's just a light at this point. You actually have to go right up and sit inside the companionway to see what's on that screen. So it's not very practical. In the future, I'll probably build a pod here and have all the controls here once we get updated electronics. I'm not gonna install them back here. And these are other displays for this is our multi-displays. So these show our speed, speed over water, our depth, temperature, wind speed. Everything else gets displayed on these two monitors. They can change whatever you want to have on the screen. You just set it for that. And our outdoor speakers, our pilot house speakers. And that just about wraps up the cockpit. Let's move forward. This is the outside of our hardtop or pilot house. I use a reflective Canadian flag decal because our China-made Canadian flags fall apart in weeks. If you know of a reasonably priced durable flag, please let me know in the comments. We stuck on these solar lights just to make our boat more viewable at nighttime in big anchorages. This is the main support of the hardtop. I built this very solid. This helps support the back half of the overhang here, which is still strong enough I can walk on right to the edge. And these are also supporting, but most of the strength is in this. These are bolted right through the coaming of the boat, making it very strong. And to get on here, I just climb up like this, and I'm on the deck. I can walk around right to the back of the overhang. It's very sturdy. When you're up at the front here, there's no give to this. And while I'm up here, this is our boom. It helps control the shape of the mainsail and the angle it's pointing to help control the boat. This is our boom bang, new installed in Trinidad. So this holds the weight of the boom up so that we don't need what's called a topping lift to hold the end of the boom up. This holds the weight of it, but this is also spring loaded and can be tensioned to pull your sail down, which gives you a little bit more control over your sail. You can make your sail very tight. This is our center hatch. This opens up over top of our galley area. We don't use this one a lot. It's not needed because we have such big hatches on the front and back of our boat. All right, these are granny bars. If we need to store our outboard, that sits on here. But what the granny bars are mostly used for is when you're out in the sea and you've got to work with these winches. This helps support you, so the boat's flopping back and forth. You're not going to get thrown off of the boat. You have this support right here. You can wedge yourself in here, and you're not going to go anywhere. You're very secure here. We're always tethered to the boat with a rope and a tether, but this still keeps you where you have to be working on the mast very securely. These are our main mast winches, which raise our mainsail and our headsail. This is our outhaul winch, which is used to extend the foot of our mainsail, as well as for reefing, which is when you decrease your sail size using these other ropes. But explaining all that would have to be another video. This is our main mast. It sits about 50 feet above deck. Alright, this is the attachment for the spinnaker pole. I do not know the name of it. I've never needed to. If you know it, comment below. But this is where we attach our spinnaker pole to. Our spinnaker pole is stored right here on the deck. We don't use a spinnaker yet, or we've not yet used the spinnaker, but we use it for our head sail. When we're sailing downwind, we can force our head sail out to the side. So this pole attaches to here. We can raise it up and down so that it remains level. It connects to the furthest corner of that head sail, so we can keep that head sail pushed far out so it doesn't flap around in the wind, and it rides real nice like that. We got some more cowls down here, just like the ones in the back of the boat. Right now our Starlink is running through this one. That's why I have it backwards, so it doesn't get the rain in there, because the rain will follow this cable down. The one in the head, we turn backwards, so that actually sucks air out rather than forcing air in. So it keeps your bathroom or your head, keeps your head smelling nice. And I'm not talking about that one. If you've seen in one of our previous videos, we went through a storm and it smashed our battens. The heavy seas, the winds were shifting from side to side to side really fast for almost an hour, causing a whole 180-degree wind shift, one side to the other side, back and forth, and that eventually smashed these. These battens go inside of our sails to make the sails stiffer, but unfortunately from that rough sail, it smashed a few of those, but I'm getting that taken care of while we're here. These are the most forward cowls and door adds on Knot Life. One is over the V-berth cabin and the other over the forward head. Next up is our forward hatch. It's another 30 inches wide with stairs inside and provides the most uninterrupted airflow through Knot Life. Ton of airflow, especially in the front of the boat. And this is a little something that I've made for drying clothes. I've developed this system with these little hooks, just using these little stainless steel hooks. And on the inside trim of the hatches, it just snaps on there. If I can do this upside down and backwards. There. They snap in place like that. The good thing about this setup is the wind is always blowing down on the clothes rather than sideways, like how most sailors dry clothes on their lifelines. With this, another bonus is when the rain comes, as it always does when you're drying your clothes, all you need to do is drop your hatch door. No more putting your clothes up and down and donating your drawers to the sea. Moving forward, we have our center horn cleat. Right now we have all of our mooring lines double cleated onto here. So they're first connected to our side cleats on the bow, and then a backup loop through this one. It's pretty foolproof at this point. We have so many things preventing these ropes from coming off that this is definitely not where it's going to happen. So if anything here breaks, if this cleat breaks and this cleat breaks, if all of these break, they'll still get hung up on our windlass. Which brings me to our next item here. So this is our windlass. This is what raises and lowers our anchor. So this is what we call a gypsy. Pulls the chain in, and then the chain falls down here into our chain locker. Here our 45 meters of 3/8 chain is stored, as well as our fenders that don't get any use. This is our bow. It's surrounded by stainless pulpit bars for safety if you need to be out here at sea. This is our furling system. A rope wraps around this hub, and when this rotates, it rolls our sail in and rolls our sail out. We have a 65-pound Mantis anchor, which in my opinion is the best insurance you can buy for a boat. It's not normally stored this way. It rests on the bow rollers, which we're currently using as extra mooring lines here during hurricane season. This is our Falconer furler. We had ours rebuilt and it's not the best brand. Let me know what you think the nickname of this furler is in the comments. I'll give you a hint. It might get censored. Our headsail follows this track and rolls up when you pull the line that's wrapped around the hub. These are the navigation lights. Red on the port and green on the starboard. Just light, but because the lights are color coded, as in green, red, and the back is white, people can relate that to know which direction you're actually facing. We had these railings built in Trinidad. I really recommend if you have a similar boat, you do the same. The boat had short wire lifelines thigh high, and now we have something sturdy to grab hold of when we're leaving the cockpit. Consider doing this because when you're out to sea, you feel so much safer getting out of the cockpit and moving forward if you have something to grab a hold of as soon as you come out. This used to just be the wire way down here, which literally is at almost your knee height and you can trip over. This gives you something solid to grab hold of and to hold you in while you make yourself forward. And then once you get forward, you have other things to hold on to. But before this, I never felt safe out onto the deck. This is our Genoa track. The headsail lanyard comes through this adjustable block before going to the winch. This is our fuel fill, wastewater pump out, freshwater fill for the rear tank, and two in the front, one on starboard and the other port side for our saddle water tanks. A boat holds about 200 gallons of fresh water. Each tank is about 50 gallons, so it gives us a lot of water. Right now we have 3 full tanks and only 1 to go. And that's all been from rainwater. That's how much it's been raining lately. All right, thank you so much for watching. This is part 1 of a 2-part boat series. Stay tuned next week and we will be showing you the inside of knot life. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next week. Get your coffee ready.